And, you know, during the pandemic, we all talked about pent-up demand. And the truth is that Americans have plenty of money in their pockets right now, and they are spending it generously. We have seen more demand across our restaurants than ever before. We believe that that's a result of two factors. Number one is that people have money, and number two, the consolidation that's occurred in our industry. Our industry saw 100,000 restaurants close across the country. Here in the state of Massachusetts, we lost 3,900 of our 16,000 restaurants. So when you have the same number of people, if not more, going out to eat and less places to go, it is a recipe for a busy restaurant.
Yeah, and that's so sad, those numbers, because many of those are places that are family-owned. That's their only source of income or revenue, maybe been in the family for generations, just literally wiped out overnight. But let's hope there'll be new capital that comes in and maybe opening up perhaps somebody like you. Would you look to expand, right? Is now the time to invest in the industry?
Well, that's an interesting question. So right now, one of the things that looms largest in our industry is the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, which was initially funded with $28.6 billion that was distributed to about 30% of the $75 billion worth of applications that went into the federal government. Currently, there are a couple bills in Congress to refill that fund. There are still many, many restaurants that are out there and struggling or have never reopened. And those restaurants still need help. They still need help from the federal government. We're hoping to get it. Now, for me personally, I think there's also going to be great opportunity on the other side of this. Right now, there's still a lot of restaurants that aren't sure of their future. That shakeout's going to continue to happen over the next 6 to 12 months. And those who have will certainly acquire. Those who don't will see consolidation within our industry. And then I believe our industry is going to reemerge even stronger on the other side of this pandemic.
And I'm sure you've dialed in. Obviously, you know the numbers, Chris. Tell us about the process, though. I mean, all the help that was provided, all the different programs for loans and the relief funds. I mean, Were they easy to tap? Did you talk to people that did? Or is it still sort of a false promise out there by the federal government?
You know, right now it's really difficult. So me personally, Brian, I did not receive any funding from the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. So that leaves Boston Urban Hospitality with 3 restaurants that are open doing record sales and one that's still closed and has been closed for 16 months. And without the liquidity from the RRF program, we will never reopen that restaurant again. By the way, we employed 89 people at that restaurant. Their families, you know, they rely on that income. It affects a lot of people. And what we're seeing right now, one of the reasons we're seeing record sales is actually an extreme food inflation. You know, everyone's talking about inflation not being that high. But if you're a small restaurant, your invoices have never been higher. The larger groups, when you talk about publicly traded companies, whether it's Yum Brands or Darden, they have contract pricing on many of their commodities. Us smaller restaurateurs, we're absorbing the brunt of that inflation. And in certain areas, especially in luxury ingredients, inflation can be 100% or even more on certain ingredients right now.